It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Wike in the building.
Yo, good morning.
I love the mustard on you.
Thank you,
beautiful.
thank you.
With the shoes, the whole works.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't see the nails, y'all. Is it mustard? Oh. How you doing, Wike?
I'm fine. I saw something this morning that was just so amazing to me. The girl that's, not Titi, the one that, other lady, I don't know her name. That's, she had her hair in an African hairstyle with thread. I mean, I never even knew she was so beautiful. Beautiful girl. I had to stop her. Are you the one that, you are so fine. How can, and you should be doing this Oyinbo hair. And she has this beauty. Oh man, she looked so beautiful.
Actually, I didn't notice. I have to go check it out today.
You need to really check her out. You really do.
All right, her name is Tokwe from Wake Up Nigeria.
That reminds me, it's Tokwe's birthday.
Yay! Go Topsy!
Happy
birthday! Go Topsy!
It's your birthday! Go Topsy! It's your birthday! In COVID, it's your birthday. In lockdown, it's your birthday.
So we can't party.
Tokwe Bakodige. Today is her birthday. She's a year older. I know. I've not called her, but I sent her a message this morning, and it's a good day for her. And we pray that God will continue to protect and guide her. And she's done a lot for herself, Wike. Yes. Remember when Tokwe started? She's grown. Yes. Tokwe has grown and she's impacted lives. Yes. She makes videos every single day, helping lots of young people, empowering them, giving them a direction to life. And that's no small feat. We celebrate Tokwe Bakodige today. Happy birthday. God bless you. Anything else you want to say concerning?
I know. I already called her.
Oh, good.
We're still going to do something for her, even if we can't.
Yes, we have to find something.
Yeah, we'll do something.
We can't parry. I think we just cancel parties this year. I mean, let's just agree that this year, no party.
I already planned my own birthday that is coming out this month. I bought the dress and everything. I won't wear I wear it in my house. I'm looking at myself.
In Zoom. We'll do a Zoom party.
Today.
We can do a Zoom party. We talk later in the day.
We can
actually do that.
I don't actually believe in Zoom parties, so don't.
I did one recently. You just cook. And you have the drink, and there's music, and you be dancing, and the birthday. Yes, now, trust me, it's actually fun.
Please, I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. I'm a human being.
In case you want to party, you can do party that time because I like to eat.
Yes.
Because look, there are some of us now that are even believing that this COVID-19 is
fake.
Is just to stop human beings from interacting.
Right.
We are now because I don't.
Let me just keep quiet.
I'm looking at this COVID situation and I'm thinking those employers who have required that their staff come to work and have not provided any form of safety for them. I hope they're ready for the court actions that will come after COVID in case any one of their staff gets infected.
Yeah, are you trying to instigate people?
No, I'm just saying people should know they have rights where they are and there are remedies for what they suffer.
Yes, there's a name for us, conspiracy theorists. We are the conspiracy theorists.
We always come up with all sorts of conspiracy. Anyways, it's Tuesday, it's Tokwe's birthday. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Let's start with The Nation. WHO to begin drug trials in Lagos, Ogun, FCT, others. Nigerians stranded abroad to wait. CBN, 7 billion naira fraud conviction. No release order for Kalu. Convert Catholic hospitals, others to isolation centers. And why employers must get stimulus by NLC, says TUC. Yeah, go ahead.
So, a lot of stories.
Quite a bit of stories.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, while addressing yesterday, talked about other Nigerians in other countries that are stranded, saying that they will have to wait they will not be airlifted immediately, so they have to wait for the federal government. And, he also recorded the number, about 678 Nigerians already rescued across the UK, Dubai and the US.
Rescued, they were brought home.
Not the same thing. They
brought them home.
Yes. Some of the same, but that's it.
So they're airlifted, but the issue is that they don't have the capacity to absorb so many people.
Now.
So all the capacity they have has been exhausted. So we have 678 right now from UK, UAE, and US. Other countries like China.
So when these ones do their 14 days.
Yes, then they'll bring the next batch in. So they have to just hold
because
on for now.
I think, well, actually, apart from the teething problems that they've had, they've actually done a good job because they are the ones that are paying for the hotels. It's not the people that come. They are the ones paying for the hotels. You pay your flight, but I even want to ask them if my daughter can come.
And stay in the hotel. Well, we're going to talk to somebody who is actually in there very soon.
Also, the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Yes, the Catholic Church offered all 435. No, but I mean, I don't understand any other form of Christianity but the Catholic. So they offered about 435 of their hospitals, and you know they have Holy Family, all those places that we all went as children.
When I saw the news, I was shocked that Catholic Church has 425.
435 hospitals across Nigeria.
Yeah. Across the country. 435, yeah.
I'm really surprised.
And they've offered those hospitals to be used because, you know, we are, of course, running out of beds. We don't know how far this will go. Everybody, they talk, but nobody, they help.
And they decided to task force have said that they should actually
convert them to isolation
use them and make the best of the situation.
I was really shocked.
Willingly, they gave us.
Many of our churches need to do the same. We should have more hospitals.
You know, because I was listening to the radio this morning.
I gave birth to my son at a church hospital, Soteria. I think it's a clam, I think. So that's another church that actually has a hospital. But compared to Catholic, we need more churches.
I was listening to the radio this morning, and they were saying that after the war, it was actually the Catholics the Catholic Church that went into the East and helped them through that. That's why there are more of them. That is what I heard. I don't know if it's...
Probably that's why there are more of them in my area as well.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Madagascar drug, COVID organic, to be used when confirmed safe and working, says PTF. Air Force men lead hoodlums to demolish Lagos buildings. 4 to die by hanging for murder in Ikiti. We have no court order to release Orji Kalu, says NCOS. Court orders forfeiture of ex-presidential fleet and commander's 510 million naira. COVID-19 will worsen Nigeria's debt situation, says NESG. EGMI, 10 power plants suffer gas shortage. And reps modalities set for modalities for the NCDC bill public hearing. Okay. Which story are we taking from Punch? Should we take the major headline? Or
no, the hoodlums, there are 2 stories on it. The hoodlums, and they actually went to the village, village, what's it called? I've forgotten. And Nyanokpaja, Lagos, Nyanokpaja.
And Valley View.
Valley
Estate.
And they demolished some buildings with 4 Air Force men. And they were arrested and taken to this police station. Then they were now transferred to Panti, where they were released. So the people that their houses were demolished were saying, no, how can you release them? And the police are saying, look, this is not a criminal offense. That this is it's a civil matter. You have to take it. You have to bring the evidence of murder or criminal. So they have to take it.
So that's where that ended, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, this is the era of demolition.
We didn't want to take the COVID organic, the Madagascar drug.
No, I wanted to take the Rufai.
Okay.
He said that Oshibaju.
I missed that.
He said the vice president is.
Oshibaju now chairs our group of Association of Short People. Yes, go ahead, Wike. You heard that story.
He's the chairman, and I think El-Rufai might be the vice president, the vice chairman.
What happened? I read that story.
It was Teju Babyface, yes.
I sent a post. I think
in 2010.
about a joke that he did some time ago.
2010.
And then, so he was saying then he was there, it was general or something like that, maybe the general of Association of Short People. But now that we have a vice president who is vertically challenged, he didn't use that word, that he's now the new chairman.
He's the new chairman.
Of Short
I think it was just, it was nice in this.
Yes, we did.
COVID-19.
Moving on to Daily Sun. COVID-19, Buhari OK's check on Madagascar herbal remedy. Labour alleges imminent nationwide hunger. Disquieting FII rule over plot to deny most senior director DG position. Biafra can renew war with Uwazirike. And drivers, conductors aiding spread of COVID-19, says Commissioner of Police. Interesting.
The Lagos, the Labour recommendation.
Yes, go ahead.
So the organization of organized Labour said that there's imminent hunger in the land because of COVID, and not necessarily because there's COVID, but because of the enforcement of the lockdown across states and the curfew. That the abuse of the police officers in carrying out enforcement has frustrated farmers in transporting what they have or even getting to their farms to plant, that there should be a uniform standard of how this enforcement will happen, such that people, whether they are, most of our farmers are not literate. They don't have the time to explain and all that. There should be a uniform way, a way to have an identity for them and ease their activity so that food, at least in the lockdown, will not be difficult again, and that, those were the suggestions.
And the police have said that the drivers and conductors are aiding the spread of COVID. That's because they don't want to be caught by the police. So they buy masks, and then they hand it out to their passengers to put on their faces. And then after they get down, they take the mask from them and give it to another passenger. That this is dangerous, and that if they're not going to take it easy on any bus or conductor or driver that they catch, they will arrest them.
Let's talk about Madagascar. What's our time? We don't have much time.
So Madagascar don't give us their drugs, and the president has okayed that they should be received. But of course, as they are coming into the country, they'll be going for clinical testing. Yesterday, listening to the Minister for Health, I heard about our solidarity treatment with the WHO, that the WHO, Nigeria is a part of 100 countries that will participate in what they call a solidarity test of treatment. Yes. So they will have some form of treatment that the WHO has approved that they would use. That's aside Madagascar's drug that they will use, and we are part of the country that will take part, starting with Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja again in Nigeria.
5 states, Kaduna, you didn't add Kaduna, Abuja, Kaduna. There's one other state, Lagos, Ogun. One more. There are 5.
Now, the thing is that my own question is, I know that there are a few countries that have said they are paying their citizens to come forward to volunteer. Nobody has said anything about how much are you going to be paying people who are going to volunteer. Nobody's saying us to be compensated. How are you going to get these people who are going to volunteer for these clinical trials? We haven't talked about that, but at least we know that we have volunteered to.
But this clinical trial is not the COVID one, it's the international.
The WHO is bringing, not
there's one WHO, there's one from the US, there's one from Germany.
The Madagascar one, I would volunteer myself if I caught
it. Because the herbs is here, as long as na herb we see.
Let them go and investigate first before you know if the herb is here. Because if it is here, then we'll do it ourselves.
It's in the papers, in the Daily Trust, the herbs grow here.
Yes.
The main content of the Madagascar one
is here.
Grows here.
The minister had even said it, that the herb is here, but they don't know what else is inside, so they have to do the trials to find out that if it is something that we can get here.
Okay. Our final paper, because of time, Vanguard, COVID-19, FGO case 5 states. We talked about that. Let's find a story we've not taken. Ganduje blasts critics of Kano lockdown relaxation. Wike demolishes hotel owner in war of words. We haven't issued 5G licenses, says NCC. And why I sold my baby for 130,000 naira, says orphan. I read that story. The woman said it was because she needed the money and poverty. She was actually quite poor. And the fact the baby had been sold, but they were intercepted. Police just arrested the people who bought the baby from her, and then they were able to trace the mother of the child. And then she's been arrested and is in custody right now. Daily Trust very quickly. Now, Buhari orders importation of Madagascar. We talked about that. Let's find a story we've not taken. Fighting conflict and coronavirus in Nigeria's Borno. COVID-19 patients threatening health workers' lives at isolation centers, and how Abuja-Kaduna Expressway gridlock is becoming drivers' nightmare. Let's talk about that for a second.
So the president of the head of the presidential task force, Boss Mustafa, was talking about how some COVID-19 patients have turned themselves to maximum prison inmates, because that's the only place where you see people threatening the people servicing them. So the doctors, when they come in, they are locked in, threatened and harassed by the patients they are treating. And this, they have wearing their PPEs and being threatened. Of course, you start to discourage them from being willing to help you. If they know that your head no day, they will leave you there without assisting you. But he decried the way that they've been treated so far.
Reprehensible. He used some 3 big English to...
Yeah, we have to run. Let me just say the headline of Nigerian Tribune. We will vigorously monitor the $3.4 billion IMF COVID-19, the nation says reps. COVID-19 Nigeria to analyze the Madagascar syrup. We talked about that. NHRC releases human rights violation report, alleges 11 extrajudicial killing, and pandemonium in Abuja as policeman kills 52-year-old businessman.
So the National Human Rights Commission has released the report of human rights violation between April 13 to May 4, just that small period, of alleges 11 deaths. 7 out of the 11 were from the police, some from the NCDC, and 1 from the Abia State Task Force. 3 of these deaths happened in Abia State. So extrajudicially, just, just killing people. And there's a similar story in the Tribune as well about how a police officer had to shoot into the crowd and kill the 56-year-old man just like that. I think under this tension, a lot of psychological, what the Tokwe call these things, psychiatric evaluation has to be happening.
Yeah, I was even watching a program on TVC yesterday where they were talking about how this thing is affecting us psychologically. So we are all going bonkers.
I'm like, there's a guy, my husband just jejely minding his business, joking. Somebody will just start cursing. All he's doing is just cursing and shouting, using the F word, using the B word, using the S word. Nothing's wrong with him. He's arguing with himself. So there's a lot of craziness going on out there. That's all we can take.
You don't know where your next bread and butter is coming from.
Let's go. When we come back, we have a guest from Flour Mills, Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
So staying with us.
Koro.
Like just a regular clean the throat cough. It's not COVID-19 cough. All right, sorry about that. Excuse me. Joining us now on the show is the Commissioner for Health, Kogi State, Dr. Saka Haruna Audu. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Are you there, sir? Good
Hello.
morning. Good morning.
I can hear you.
Good to have you. We were supposed to have your
This
governor.
is not, Commissioner.
Good morning,
I am not
Commissioner for
the Commissioner
Information.
for Health, Commissioner for Information.
Oh, I do apologize. Commissioner for Information. Yes, thanks for joining us this morning. We're supposed to have the governor himself. What happened to him?
Thank you. He sends his apologies. He's attending to very crucial meetings of international investors that are in the States to help us boost our agricultural production. So because of that meeting, it did not make place. So
That's
he has sent.
One of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation was the video that went viral about your principal, talking about the economic effect of COVID-19, especially in your state. He did mention that your IGR had reduced from over $1 billion a month, it's about 400 million, and the fact that it was important that people return to the farms, and that he used a very laughable phrase saying that we must be courageous to tell COVID-19 to go back to China. Could you help us understand? Because when we hear the governor speak in that manner, it's almost like you belittle the impact of COVID-19. Could you help us give some clarity to what his direction, what exactly he meant by sending out that video the other day?
Yeah, the governor does not in any way belittle the impact of coronavirus, and he is one of the people working silently but very aggressively against the spread of the virus. And what he was just trying to point out is the fact that we need to look at our economy. If we concentrate too much on COVID-19 and leave our economy unattended to, it will affect the people. And hunger and poverty can kill as much as COVID-19. So what he's trying to say is that we must find a balance between the fight against the spread of COVID-19, which is quite very important, and also the need to reposition and rebound our economy from the shambles it has found itself since the advent of COVID-19. That was just the point here.
I completely agree with his views on finding a balance, but I'd like to know in details, just like I asked the last time you were on the show, to give us an outline. Because you see, when you know, there's this reassurance that you make that gets you trusting of the system. So when you know what exactly the government is ruling out that will go alongside opening their economy, you would find that trust in the system to enable you work and rely on that system. So what are the guidelines for opening the economy alongside the existing virus?
Or there is scientific direction that you have in addition to that, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me pick it from the angle of we cannot wish away the fact that the virus has really devastated our people, our society, and the economy. And we have moved a notch above where we were a few days ago. The state government has taken delivery of testing kits that will be used to test our people. And it was demonstrated yesterday at the State Ministry of Health during a press conference by the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Saka Haruna. So we are working aggressively to ensure we strengthen and empower our people against the virus, plus our economy. When I talk about rebounding our economy, the state government has set up two different committees. One is working on revamping the agricultural sector of our economy, and the other is working on building the SMEs so that our people will be empowered right from the grassroots. The two committees have submitted their reports, and we are going to go on the very massive agricultural revolution in the state, starting from the grassroots. We are also going to work very seriously with the local government councils to ensure that the coming rainy season, we are able to empower our farmers to be able to have proper harvest.
Right.
So that is just the way out right now, because the pandemic has really affected the internally generated revenue of the state, as we have stated earlier. So we are working to ensure that we diversify our economy and reduce reliance on the hands-out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I just wanted to find out, how many tests have you carried out so far?
As at yesterday, when the Commissioner for Health was addressing the press, he told us that about 111 tests have been carried out in the state, and all
100
tested negatives.
100
So
tests?
we have taken delivery of 5,000 additional test kits in the state, and we are ready to test as many people as we fall into the category of people that are qualified for the test.
Okay, so I didn't hear clearly, sir. Did you say 100 tests taken or 1,000?
100.
111 tests.
111.
So I heard the governor on the well was addressing, saying that he encouraging doctors now from hospitals to treat patients, saying he will increase the hazard allowance to daily 50,000 daily. How feasible is this, considering that you just stated that the state's IGR has really gone down, and of course other costs will come in because of the COVID situation?
When the governor speaks, it becomes a policy statement, and he's someone that respects and honors his words. So we've already set machinery in motion. It's not about whether we'll be able to do it or not. We've already set our mechanism to accommodate such policy statements. So despite the reduction in the IGR, we are ready to ensure that we will take care of doctors that are on the front line of this fight against COVID-19. He was also trying to encourage doctors to treat all kinds of ailments, because we've discovered that since attention has been shifted to the fight against COVID-19, other ailments are busy killing our people. So we need to give the same attention we are giving to COVID-19 to other ailments that are killing our people, because anything that can kill our citizens will be attacked. And that's why we are encouraging our medical practitioners to be able to deliver on their mandates to the people.
So last time we spoke, you did mention that the NCDC had to go through the 14 days quarantine in your state before they begin to start testing. Have they left your state, or they are still there?
In fact,
No. I think we need to set the record straight here. That day they came, the main reason they left was not just because of the quarantine. I think their main issue was that they did not want to be tested for COVID-19. And they insisted that they would be leaving for Abuja that night, and they left. So it's something that it's worrisome. But we are not relying on we are not going to rely solely on NCDC anymore. We have well enough test kits in the state. We are going to take more deliveries on Thursday this week. So we are ready to deal with the situation.
So since they didn't agree to be tested for COVID-19, do you have people that are going to test from your states, because if they're not going to be tested, if the NCD officials don't agree to be tested for COVID-19, who is actually now doing the tests in your state? Because I believe it's the NCD.
We have enough personnel to do it. At the Ministry of Health yesterday,
you have what?
Our laboratory. We have enough personnel to do that. Medical personnel to do that. At the Ministry of Health yesterday, our laboratory experts displayed how the test goes, and you know they also showed us how efficient the kits we now have is, because it is being used in many countries around the world, and in 30 minutes you get your results. You know, it was displayed yesterday. It is not something, you know, the integrity of the test is also very important, and that is what we don't want to compromise.
Okay.
I wonder though how quick it was, how easy and quick it was for you to train your own personnel in this, because in the country, all states are partnering with the NCDC to train and prepare their states for testing and, you know, treatment and management, because there's really no
testing for virus is not a very strange thing. It doesn't require the kind of very special training that you're talking about. When it was displayed yesterday, you know, so many people there were surprised too. But these medical personnel, these laboratory assistants, they understand. They understand what they need to do to get the test done. So it's not rocket science. It's not something that's strange to medical personnel. So they are on top of the situation. I saw it live yesterday.
Let's just have numbers, right, sir.
And
how many?
Within 30 minutes, we got the results. So
how many isolation centers? How many isolation centers and treatment centers are existing presently in Kogi? And how many beds do they have?
We don't just call our own. We don't just call our own isolation centers alone, because we also understand the psychology behind telling people they are being taken to isolation centers. Okay. So we also call those centers containment centers. Okay. We have 3 in the states, one at the Parek Clinic in Lokoja here, and the other one at Ultra Modern Diagnostic Center, and the other one at AMPA in Kogi East. So we are ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, your test kits, did you get them independently of NCDC? Were they? And where did you get them from?
There were recommendations. There were vendors that have been recommended by the NCDC, and we got from one of the vendors recommended by the NCDC, and it's one of the best kits. It's very reliable and very efficient.
Okay, we have to wrap up with you, sir, but many of us are worried that your state has only done 111 tests so far, because for a state that almost doesn't have enough testing, well, you have enough testing kits, but the governor did say that he's been under pressure to declare more COVID-19 cases in his state. He did mention that last week. So my question to you then is, are you ramping up testing? How fast, how many testing do you plan to do per day, just to be sure that we don't have any cases in Kogi State?
Thank you. We are not going to put pressure on ourselves, and we are not going to state numbers there. People who have symptoms, they have our hotlines already. They should call our hotlines, and when we see that they fall into the criteria to be tested, we will test them. But we don't go on the streets to pick people for COVID-19 tests. That is not going to happen. So we are going to rely on information from people. We are also going to check our hospitals to see the patients in those hospitals and those that fit into the category to be tested. We have enough those that fit into the category to be tested. We have enough testing kits now. We are going to get more, and it shows that we are ready.
Okay, all right.
And most importantly, we are strengthening our people's sensitization, because they are taking ownership of the fight against the spread of COVID-19. Even community unions are doing a lot. Like the one I'm wearing now was done by the union of the Takiti, the Progressive Union. So it means that even communities are taking ownership of the fight against COVID-19. And that is possible. That's what we have done for our people. And that is why we are not experiencing COVID-19 in Kogi State yet.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. We'll be very happy to know that there is no case in your state, because it is important to celebrate success stories. So we'll keep watching Kogi and see how things fall through in your state. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've been speaking to the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Kogi State, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, the authorities of Rivers State have demolished 2 hotels over an alleged breach of lockdown. The state governor, Nyesom Wike, who supervised the tearing down of the Edemete Hotel and Prodest Home Hotel on Sunday, said the operations had flouted an order that hotels should be closed. He said the people who had tested positive for the virus had been found in hotels across the state. Right. Joining us now is a lawyer, Liborous Oshoma, to give us his thoughts on this. Good morning, Liborous. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. How have you been?
I'm okay.
We've not spoken to you since the lockdown.
I'm on a lockdown.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah, I've been seeing your videos. The advert.
So, the governor of Rivers State obviously made the news when he supervised the demolition of these, I think it was 2 or 3 hotels in Rivers State, owing to the fact that they flouted the lockdown. Lawyers have come up, I know that Femi Falana, SAN, had come out to say that that was wrong. Others have said, no, he was justified because of the executive order. What are your thoughts on this? But because we're a bit confused, we understand the point of ensuring that the containment of the spread of the virus, that's clear. But the fact you demolished a hotel, was that too excessive, do you think?
Apart from the fact that it was too excessive, his behavior was an outrageous display of irresponsibility. Especially given the fact that he's a lawyer and a life member of the body of benchers. I think if we were in Senate society, by now the body of benchers would have expunged his name from the membership of that body, that esteemed body. It is a notorious fact that an executive order, no matter how well crafted, cannot take the place of a legislature duly passed. It is a fundamental right to own immovable property. And if that property must be destroyed, it has to be by a court order, even if there is a violation. And in the words of Biobele Abraham, George Will, Court of Appeal Justice, while ruling on a similar matter, State Okafor against Governor of Lagos State, where the Lagos State government, using an executive order, arrested State Okafor for violating the restriction on no movement on Environmental Sanitation Day. And in the words of the learned JCA, he said, it is in my view that democracy thrives more on obeying and promoting the rule of law rather than the whips and caprices of the leaders against the led. I find the conduct of the governor in not only persecuting the appellant, because according to him, that is the right thing that he did in arresting the appellant in that matter. That an action which, if allowed to thrive in a democracy such as ours, could confer on a governor infinite, absolute, and autocratic power, contrary to the clear provisions of the Constitution of the land, to which both the leader and the led are subject. I refuse to allow such autocratic, absolute, and infinite power to fester upon our nascent democracy.
Right. Exactly.
And so, in the same manner, let's even flip the coin and agree that executive order can take the place of law. Can we validly also say that Wike, being a governor, an executive member who made that executive order, can he be the one to execute it? Can he be the one to pronounce judgment upon it and then supervise the enforcement of that judgment? And we all know it is elementary that absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is not the intent of any law in our land. And it should not be encouraged. I've also listened to some senior councils in Rivers State, maybe for fear of their life, because we are breeding a dictator in governors, maybe for fear of their life are blindly supporting the action of Wike and asking the owners of the hotel to go to court. It is shameful and irresponsible.
All right, let me get a few questions in for you. Go ahead.
No, mine is not really a question, but just because at first, I must say that I used to admire the way he was carrying out the lockdown. You know, he was making sure everybody was locking down, the helicopters, you know. But my belief is that he went a step too far. How
many palliatives did he share when he was enforcing lockdown? Don't leave all those grandstanding.
You know, I don't want to even, you know, if I'm going to yab me, I'm on national TV, it will not be good. But instead of demolishing those hotels, why didn't he turn them into isolation centers? Why didn't he turn them into places for the poor people to stay, homeless people?
He cannot even, by his own whims and caprices, just turn the place to an isolation center. If you read further, he said, after demolishing the hotel, he said he will prosecute the owners of the hotel. For me, that is mercy after death. It's like killing a man.
Does he have a case, though?
No, I would like you,
it's like killing a man.
No, I mean, I'd like you to advise the victims now, the hotel owners, on their rights and what they should do. Because people in Nigerians will usually leave matter for God.
No, they have a very strong case. But the only problem here is that the windmill of justice here grinds slowly. But surely they will get justice. If you remember the case of Jumobi and Ayofele in Ibadan.
Exactly. I was going to bring that up.
At the end of the day, didn't Jumobi settle Ayofele because he knows that he has no power to do what he did, even though he was citing a valid court judgment that had been appealed. Not to talk of an executive order. So the owners of those hotels have a case. But my only anger is that at the end of the day, if they get judgment, these damages will not be paid from the pocket of the governor. It will be paid from the pocket of taxpayers' funds. Because this action, he would claim that he carried it out, pursuant to the powers of a governor. That's my only anger.
Some will argue that he's the chief security officer of his state, that he's trying to secure the health of his people. And especially because the executive order was quite elaborate on the fact that if you do, because according to what he said, he did engage the traditional rulers. He engaged the community leaders saying no hotel must open. And he was very clear on that. And even told them, if you do open, I will demolish. So it was clear.
In Badagry, despite the fact that the Lagos State Governor was clear on the fact that businesses shouldn't open, 2 hotels were open and they were sealed. They were sealed. In Lagos, despite the fact there was a law on social distancing, Funke Akindele, his property was not destroyed. Rather, she was charged to a court of competent jurisdiction. The fact that Wike was cleared does not give him the power to summarily carry out judgment on an order that is not
Let me add small for you, sir. The fact that it is clear that for armed robbery you face, death sentence does not mean that they will just shoot you on the streets. You will still get your day in court.
Exactly. So these are the laws of the land. So if you feel that executive order can take the place of a law validly made, what do? You charge them before a court.
Exactly.
Charge them before the court and ask the court to make a pronouncement. You can even argue that they should give vent to that executive order that you should demolish. Let the court, let a different arm of government make a pronouncement on the validity or otherwise of the laws that you have made. You cannot be a lord unto yourself.
So the governor is enjoying immunity right now. This person, the owners of the hotel, would have to wait for him to after he becomes. Can they file a suit against him personally? Sorry?
It's a civil matter. They can approach the court. They are going to sue the Rivers State government because the governor carried out that act as the governor of Rivers State pursuant to a law made by Rivers State.
Right.
Okay,
They are going to sue Rivers State government and possibly the Attorney General. They cannot sue him in person. They would. So it's not about immunity here. The immunity does not cover Rivers State. It's a civil matter.
Right.
Okay, even let's say they sue the Rivers State government. What about when he becomes an ordinary citizen? Can they now sue him after suing Rivers State government? Now go and sue him as a person? Is that possible?
The new governor will inherit the suits.
Okay.
That's why I said my anger is the fact that if at the end of the day damages is asked to be paid, it is from the coffers of taxpayers' money that it will be paid and not from his personal pocket. He knows what he's doing.
Then finally, Liborous, sometimes I get confused. When we have so many precedents we've seen with the Ayesfele story, the story in Badagry, people know the rules, the law. Is it that governors are totally, they are bereft of the law of the land, or they think they can just take powers into their own hands? Or is it that, what is it exactly? They're not properly guided on what to do or what not to do as the executive governors of their state?
What we have is psychophancy that makes, we are the fourth, that makes our governor think they are emperors. If you remember, Jumobi said he was constituted authority and nobody should talk to him anyhow. But today he's an honorary man. In Cross River State, Ben Ayade locked up Agba Jalingo on top of charges, and even though he denied it. Because people who are supposed to speak truth to these governors. Imagine the statement made by OCG Okocha, a learned senior advocate and a respected member of the bar. I was expecting him to cite a section of the Constitution or any law that empowers Wike to do what he did. If a senior member of the bar at that level can blindly support what Wike did, why would he think he's a lord unto himself? Because you have so many psychopaths around governors. They tell him, oh, you're the best that can happen because of a plate of beans. And at the end of the day, the man thinks, and then because the sanctions also, the state inherit the sanctions, they will not be from his personal pocket. So they will continually do these things and use executive powers to pursue perceived enemies and then say, you go to court if you like. But the mistake we are making is that gradually, by the time we are telling people go to court, because it will get to a time the court might not be able to accommodate them. Like you saw Fayose once said before he became a governor, that every time somebody rigs an election, he says go to court. That this time around, we will not go to court. We will kill ourselves, rig the election together, and win at the polls. So that is the attitude that we are gradually breeding, that people will rather take the law into their hands also than go to court, because they know the windmill of justice here grinds slowly, because justice delayed is justice denied.
One thing, that's why I like the governor of Lagos State and the governor of Ondo State. They have removed that excellency from their names. Because when you are addressing them as excellency, they believe that they are excellent and they can do no wrong.
It had nothing to do with the name. It
has a lot. You don't know. If I keep calling you every day, king.
Aregbe Shola was not called his excellency, but he also had his excellency. It had nothing to do with the excellency. It had everything to do with our attitude and behavior towards people in power. People in power are supposed to lead us. They are supposed to serve us. But rather, we end up serving them and playing psychophancy around them. Yes, sir. The king can do no wrong mentality.
Right.
Until we change that mentality.
I totally agree.
Liborous, I would like you to talk about Nigerians now, because the general conversation, some people are of the opinion that, of all the governors, this is the best governor that, that is fighting for the people. He's true to his words. If he says he's going to demolish a hotel, he will demolish it. So if Morale is looking at me and I'm telling him, Morale, stop looking at me, I'm going to slap you. just so that I'll prove myself true to my word. I have to slap her just for looking.
So his action was populist, not so much
populist.
scientific.
So I'd like you to talk to Nigerians so that, you know, they understand how damaging that mentality is.
You see, thank you very much for this question. You see, like they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That is the mentality you see exhibiting here. So the same people that we condemn President Buhari for being dictatorial, those same people we praise Wike for doing the same thing and even worse. And then when you flip the coin, we blind. That's why I said the problem of our leaders are the followership. We see the truth and we close our eyes to it depending on who is involved. That is why there are two sets of laws. Some laws for our leaders and the rest for us. And so until we begin to speak truth to authority, irrespective of the political leaning, irrespective of tongue or tribe, we will not move from where our leaders will continually take us for granted. In every society, there will be deviants. People will disobey the law. That's why there are processes and procedures.
Right.
If you like, use dogs, use lions, use the helicopter. Even in America, that is heavily policed, people still violate the law.
Right.
That is why you take them through a process.
All right, let me just
quickly. A governor will violate the law. You say it's an action governor without following procedure. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't be our mentality.
Right.
Because gradually we're encouraging impunity.
Exactly.
Because a man will come, another governor will come, he will simply follow in the precedent that have been said before.
Yes.
And then we turn around.
Let me just get a final question for you. Yes, why?
No, I was going to ask, what about the cars that he impounded and auctioned off?
It has no right to sell anybody's car on the basis of an executive order without a court order. It doesn't have that right. It doesn't. We have seen custom do it. That does not make it right. We condemn custom for doing it, and we are praising Wike for doing the same thing. It shouldn't be so. It doesn't make it right. When our leaders refuse to, these are people who have sworn to obey the laws and uphold the laws of the land. But yet, you see them violate that same law with impunity, and nobody's holding them accountable. The House of Assembly is like an appendage to the apron string of the executive. And we, the people that are supposed to be in opposition, we blindly follow. Today is APC, tomorrow is PDP. Quickly, let me give you an analogy. When Umbu, that police commissioner in this same River State, when he gave order, shoot aside to election ballot box snatchers, then it was Goodluck Jonathan's time. All the APC supporters condemned him. They condemned him, and the PDP supporters were praising him. But that same order was given by Buhari during the election. The people that condemned Ubu when he first gave that order, all of a sudden started praising Buhari. Those that praised Ubu started condemning Buhari. Is that our sense of justice? Is that how we are going to assess justice in Nigeria? If we continually think justice from this prison, our leaders will always take us for granted. Until we seek justice from the realm of irrespective of who is involved.
Exactly.
Stand tall. That's exactly the way all of us can be treated fairly.
Thank you very much, Liborous.
Integrity and truth.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all we can. Thank you so much, Liborous. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Let's go on a
Always
break.
my pleasure too.
When we come back, we have a few tweets? Yeah, go ahead, Nima.
Okay, Festus Akimboyewa says, Wike is a lawyer and his wife is a judge. One would expect a lawyer governor to instruct his attorney general to prosecute the owners of the hotels if indeed there's a realistic prospect for a successful prosecution. Fola Shade said, God on your side. Okay, talking to Festus Akimboyewa.
All right, that's all we can take. When we come back, we're having more updates. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're trying to get our next guest in, but in the meantime, we'll take a few tweets from the last segment.
Okay.
Nima, you have a few tweets for us?
Larry Busi says, to me, it's a way of sensitizing the public and also showing us that they practice what they preach. That's defending Wike. Oluwatomisin says, the auctioning of cars and demolition of buildings of those who violated the regulations of the lockdown is not accepted for me. There are other ways he could have punished these people. He could have just seized the cars and the building and requested for fines, which they do in other states. Redare says he should have sealed it till after this corona thing is sorted out.
Okay, pick nice ones.
I'm trying to pick out the
nice
ones. The seed the governor has sown by demolishing those structures will bring forth fruits as this pandemic begins to fade off generally. I expected a more educated approach. Boluwa Tife says, what the governor did is unfair and very painful. Uzdi says, it's the owners of the property that violated the lockdown order, not the property. I'm sure there is more to this for Nyesom Wike than COVID-19.
It looked vindictive somewhat. It sounded like it was like an agenda. Some
people believe in it. Thank God Stanley says, well, some people need an iron hand before they could respect executive order. So some people, before they could respect executive order. So some people are justifying it, which is why I wanted Liborous to address the sense. Because if it doesn't happen to you, you don't know. This is how we used to support mob action. So when a mob is attacking somebody, maybe you heard that, what did he do? He stole. You will join them. Till all of you will join hands and kill somebody.
Doesn't make it right.
But if you
and
ever
then you will not
witness,
even find out that the person is innocent.
Yeah.
If you ever
witness
witnessed such, you
Alaji
hit
Hassan.
yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What kind of Salah?
It's not time. Oh, we started the last 10 days.
Olodo.
Happy Ramadan Kareem.
Better.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Moral. Please, I would like to talk about this River State issue.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I mean,
be kind, oh.
What Wike did. Despite being a card-carrying member of APC, forget about party. Let us face humanity. This law people are talking about, with due respect to Liborous Oshoma, he has said it all. People are very selfish. They decided when and how and who to apply the law to. We knew all the wayo, all the abracadabra. You see, what you are seeing here is this. We always talk about states doing this, doing that. What really happened to when they founded kidnappers then in the state of Anambra and other states, where state governors instructed the demolition? We heard them, and it is right. Whenever you pass a law, that so things should happen. You don't need to wait for court. We don't wait for court. If you wait for court, you will wait forever. See what happened recently about Oji Uzo Kalu nailing the law on its head. Somebody was convicted, and they now went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court now gave a judgment, and they now brought a convicted person out, nullifying the previous judgment. You understand? How do you rationalize that?
Alaji, this is a pandemic, oh.
Aside that, Alaji Hassan, there's a clear distinction.
It's even much more serious than corruption.
There's a clear distinction, sir.
This is what has to do with you and me, with life.
Hold on a minute,
this
sir.
Has to do with life and death.
Alaji Hassan.
Don't think that because you cannot see coronavirus, you understand? Don't think it doesn't kill.
There are certain rules to getting a person convicted.
The most powerful man in this country, Abba Kyari, I see no reason why anybody should die corona.
Okay, all right.
And I see no reason why people should be condemning Wike for protecting his people.
Okay.
He's protecting his people and behind Wike.
Okay, well done, sir.
Forever for justice in this country.
Point taken.
So even though we're in a democracy and there's something called rule of law, so there's a process that must follow, and that process wasn't followed, you support the action because this is not a military system.
A lot of agencies are finding people, and they don't have right to find people. Right to find belongs to court. Go to Inland Revenue. For late submission, they charge you. They find you money. You understand? Go to major areas. There are laws passed by the state. If you do this, this will happen to you. Look at what happened in Kaduna State.
On executive orders.
But Alaji.
Okay, I think we lost that call. We can't. I don't also engage Alaji because he's entitled to his own viewpoint, which is fine.
No, I just wanted to ask him a question.
Right.
Because I'm not saying that he shouldn't have even seized the hotels, locked down the hotels for violating.
Right.
But
Demolition.
there's so much you could do
With that.
with the hotels. You could have turned it into isolation center. They have beds.
Abi?
We are all looking for isolation center. They have beds.
Okay, we have to move on now because our guest is here now. We had a guest the other day, the securities expert, legal and economist, Dr. Charles Omole. He was our guest. We're really impressed with our conversation. I wanted to bring him back again because we're not done talking to him. Dr. Omole, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning,
We
ladies.
enjoyed your company the other day. In fact, we're still going to bring you on more because we just felt that we need to speak to you again. We had so many questions for you, but we couldn't exhaust the questions. But we'll delve right into it. One of the things I was concerned about the economy is that our relationship with China. I'm worried. The whole world seemed to be ganging up almost against China because of COVID-19. Everybody's sending them bills of what COVID has cost them. And here is Africa. We've romanced China. They're like our new big brother. You know, they've given us money. So we are almost like China's best friends at this time. But the whole world seems to be ganging up against it. What does this portend for Africa at this time where it seems that China is our new big brother?
Well, I mean, China is just China is like the bogeyman of all things wrong with the Western relationship with Africa. So, I mean, it could easily have been the United States, but China is in the eye of the storm at the moment. I think the thesis is the fact that, you know, Africa has been exploited for too long. But I think the best way to actually put it is Africa has allowed itself to be exploited for so long.
Well put, sir.
Therefore, as a result of that, you know, COVID is showing. One of the key things, even in terms of world powers, one of the things COVID-19 has shown is people withdrawing into themselves. If you, for example, look at how the nations of the world responded to COVID, even within the EU, there was no EU response. It was individual countries doing their own thing. You know, everybody went back to their own camp as a result of COVID. You know, in terms of shutdown of air travel, for example, there was no global coordination at all. Each nation was just announcing their own, and we are closing our borders. We are closing our borders. So what this has done is it kind of reawakened the sort of sense of nationalism in each nation, and in this case, Africa, and we begin to question some of the things China has brought to the table. So yes, gang up on China, I accept it's happening, but you cannot say it's not 100% undeserving because China has made itself a big player across Africa.
Right.
And, you know, right now, everybody needs somebody to blame, and China it is.
Okay.
So after our talk the last time, yesterday, I would love you to give us hope. So the controller of our ports, the MPA, was talking about how much Nigerians were able to export. We need the forex. How hopeful? What other areas can we look into, aside oil, of course, to export and get this forex to grow our own economy?
Well, I mean, there are lots of minerals in terms of that's not been well exploited in Nigeria. I mean, one of the biggest scandals that's happening in Nigeria, which the media are not probably covering as much, is how some cabal, I'm sorry to use that word again, some cabal have more or less taken over all our mines across Nigeria. The other day, you read in the media how some Chinese were, arrested, I think it's in Osun State or so, for mining our gold. The question you have to ask yourself is that how will the Chinese in China know there's gold in Osun State if no Nigerian brought them to come and mine it? You know, so in terms of our mineral resources, we need to clearly, exploit that more officially. And yesterday I was talking about entrepreneurial revolution. Actually, what I meant, a very typical example of that, is that a law was enacted many years ago in the U.S. as a way of sort of encouraging entrepreneurship. And that law states that 20 or 25% of all federal government contracts must go to startups and small businesses. It was a deliberate decision to encourage small businesses. Something like that will easily be done in Nigeria. if you, I mean, the way contracts and procurement are done, for example, by governments in Nigeria, only very few companies are qualified. They ask for 5-year task clearance, 5 years this, 5 years that. You're a graduate, you just started your business 6 months ago, you have no chance of getting anything in government because the system has been rigged only for well-established long-term businesses. So what government needs to do as a way of encouraging entrepreneurship is to put their money where their mouth is. To say, okay, we are going to do X percentage of all federal contracts. We go to small and startup businesses as a way of encouraging entrepreneurship. That easily can be done without any cost to government, and get more people to, to get into entrepreneurship. So there are so many examples I can give in terms of entrepreneurial, explosion that I was talking about that needs to take place in the country. So we need to do that. Number three, we need to, government, they are doing the right thing in this direction. We need to consume more of what we produce as a nation. The days of just importing everything should be over. We need to consume more, and the challenge about this consumption is the fact that a bit of it is psychological. And that's what many Nigerians don't know. When the federal government closed the borders, there was a story I read, I think it was in December, about some people who would produce their local rice and then fraudulently bag it as though it's foreign and put the local rice in it. And people are buying it and commending that it was good rice.
Yes.
So which meant what people were buying was not the quality of the rice, was the mentality of foreign is better.
Yes.
So psychologically, we need to change.
You said something yesterday that struck me, that those who are going to survive post-COVID are those who are technologically savvy. And you try to make us understand that this is the time for us to seek knowledge, understand, and find ways. Now, when you said that, were you referring to entrepreneurial, or you're still saying you can still work in a company and offer services based on technology? Could you help us clarify?
Then let me just come in here, because since you have talked about technology, there is no way that music can be technological. You cannot turn music into a robot. You cannot, I mean, entertainment. There is hardly a way to, or maybe you have a new solution to the technology of music and entertainment.
Well, in terms of music and entertainment, the technology there is not that a robot will be singing for you. It's a fact that, for example, one of my daughters, for example, is studying, music. And I was asking her the other day, I said, okay, how much do you need to buy all the, production equipment, all the, mixers and everything you need for your... He said, no, I don't need, all I need is have the software and I use for all that now. So with the software, she has an entire studio on her laptop.
Wow.
In those days where you go into a studio where you see all this machine with so many buttons, that day is gone. Everything's now on the computer.
But that's different.
Already happening in music.
That's to bring out a record. That's to bring out a record.
Yes.
Musicians perform. Musicians go on stage. Then, when I'm talking about entertainment, it's all encompassing. I'm not just talking about. You are talking about nightclubs, bars, hairdressers. All that is entertainment. I'm going to wash my hair through.
Well, let me put it this way.
Through viral, like we're talking to you.
No,
because
they are never going to get it.
I'm fearing. I'm fearing this social distancing and all this. We are losing human touch, human comfort, human contact to machines. Yes. That's my own fear.
Yeah. Oh, no. Don't, we're never going to get to high robot universe where robot takes over the universe. No, that's never going to happen. I think what's going to happen is you're going to have even the robots performing surgery that they're already doing right now. It will still be human being keeping an oversight on it. It's just that not as many hands will be needed. In terms of the first question, in terms of technology, yes, would drive. Technology would drive entrepreneurship, but technology will also drive jobs in the office space. So it's going to be both. One of the things I released on my Twitter handle yesterday at Dr. Siomole was I did a masterclass last night on the 25 hot business trends that Nigerians should expect. after, COVID-19, and one of the key areas is technology. So technology will affect the office space in the sense that what you do will now have to be technologically enabled, because companies will now use more of what I call remote working facilities will now be used more in the office, in office space. So that means you have to have basic knowledge. By technology, by the way, I don't mean we all become programmers or
Right.
stuff like no.
Right.
There will be need for that, but you need to be technologically aware. Much more than you are at the moment.
Unfortunately, we have to go. We've run out of time. It's always a pleasure having you, Dr. Molly. We have to bring you back. What's your Twitter handle again so that we can follow you?
At Dr. C. Omole.
Dr. C.
At
Omole.
Dr. C. Omole.
Certainly, we'll follow
Yes.
you then. But we'll call you often as possible because we need continuous insights to educate Nigerians on the way forward. Many people are confused post-COVID. They're not sure how to design their businesses and all that. So we definitely need your insights on that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Like me, I'm confused though.
Yeah, Wike needs help. Shrine has been closed for months now, So we'll come to that. Have a fabulous day.
You'll be fine.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, cheers. Bye.